Something's wrong with my Gmod is very interesting to me. In most ARGs, like TF2, Gmod ARGs, they usually take place from the character's perspective and not the player's. Like, what's his name? Adwater Videos 2009 there. So that one is more like from the ragdoll's perspective, sorta, but also sometimes from the guy's perspective. But yeah. So that's why this one's different. It takes place from the the person who's playing's perspective instead of like the ragdolls or the characters. So, let's get started on this fun ARG. Heavy like a Brinks truck, looking like. The first video begins with before and after. It's just it's just a little chase scene. That this machinima guy, he's doing a machinima, yeah, and it's with I think Half-Life 1 models, judging by the poly count. But Dr. Kleiner is talking to some guy in this room right here, and then he goes back. He sees Half-Life 1 model here. I think it might be Gordon. I don't know. I'm sorry. I've never played Half-Life 1 or 2, so I don't really know that much. I'm so sorry. But he goes to this door and he says that the elevator is not there, which, well, duh, it isn't. And that actually, we'll talk about that later, but the elevator's not there. So he clicks the button and the elevator comes back down, and so the door's shut, he goes back through, and then he turns the elevator on and he goes back up, right? And you might notice he's checking around a lot cuz in the before and after and stuff, the model that Half-Life 1 model was chasing disappeared. And so now he's looking for it and stuff. And then I'll just let this play out for you. So by that, I think you could basically tell what I meant by the elevator being down and how I was gonna like blah, whatever. I think you understand. Like, the elevator was taken by the puffy hair guy. I'm just gonna call him the puffy hair guy. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know his name. I'm kind of stupid. I think at the time, the creator of this Gmod wasn't planning to do anything like super big, but with this video specifically. But yeah, they weren't trying to do anything super big, just set up like the main villain of the ARG. The main villain, the poofy haired guy. I'm still gonna call him the poofy haired guy. And I think it does a great job. The second video is quite weird. Well, it's also quite normal. It is just him playing around with poofy haired guy. The ragdoll, obviously. And with the ragdoll, he just stands the pose for the ragdoll, and then he removes the ragdoll. He changes the arms on the ragdoll. He just messes around with the ragdoll. What's interesting is at the end here, I'll just let it play out again. Okay, listen, hear me out. I am just stealing this from like the top comment on the video, but he leaves the game instead of letting something bad happen. He does that instead of, staying and waiting, which is it's smart and weird for a Gmod protagonist to do that, like a Gmod ARG protagonist. I just realized how stupid I sound throughout this whole video upon rewatching it, but I don't really care. Anyways, I don't really have much to say about the second video besides it's pretty creepy. The third video, okay, this is where things start getting really interesting and I start getting excited. So it opens on the protagonist doing a thing with Dr. Kleiner, obviously setting up like a machinima of something. And then he goes over here. I don't feel like I can actually explain this without letting you guys watch this. So I'm just gonna let the rest of this video play out, and just a fair jump scare warning for the end. I mean, it got me. I'm not even gonna lie. I genuinely jumped. First of all, this video does an amazing job building tension. With Dr. Kleiner obviously running into the dark room on GM Construct, and then the protagonist wanders through the dark room until he finds the mysterious brick wall that's actually a door. Then he breaks it with the crowbar. Then he goes down. It's so freaking thin. It's so cool. And then it leads up, and then it builds up, and eventually it just ends with poofy-haired guy his head. And it's a pretty effective jump scare. I'm not even gonna lie. So I just realized that's Dr. Coomer. Anyways, episode 4. Video 4. He's setting up another machinima with Dr. Kleiner. I feel the reason why he uses Dr. Kleiner a lot is because Dr. Coomer is like, sentient, I guess. But he's playing around with this radio, and there's Morse code. Ooh. And according to this comment, thank you, Burning Man 249, it says, "You made me this way." And that is very interesting to me. And I'm also going off of a comment for this thing here, but you see Dr. Kleiner at the start, right? Well, at the end, it looks like a different model, according to the comment. And
I'm not gonna lie, they might be right. Now, the reason why I say they might be right is because, no, number one, Dr. Kleiner does not have that. He doesn't have hair on the top of his head, and number two, it just doesn't look like him. Even though it just looks like a bunch of pixels because it's like 360p that I downloaded it in. Oh, I don't know about y'all, but I think it's Dr. Coomer personally. I've spent too much time on this frame. Let's move on to the next video. I feel like this is another one where it's just kind of easier to understand if I don't explain it to you before you watch it. So I'm just going to play it and then I'm going to try my hardest to like try to explain what's going on.
This one does an amazing job at building suspense. Just throwing that out there. It's amazing at building suspense. So it starts with him like setting up two train thingy majiggers, and then he spawns in a zombie, and then he deletes the zombie, obviously, and then he dies. I'm obviously joking when I say that, but he ends up in the area from the third video. The third video, I think? Yeah, I think the third video. And this is where it just gets really suspenseful. It's practically a copy of the third episode environment-wise, but and suspense building-wise, but it gets really cool. First, the door gets broken down, and then it just keeps getting weirder as he walks through everything, and then it eventually all climbs up and eventually ends with an amazing chase sequence, which I think is really well done for Gmod. This sixth video is not very anything special. It just is. It opens up with the guy just messing around with barrels, flinging them everywhere, and then the end, then it just kind of jump scares you with a Dr. Coomer jump scare. This is a very interesting sight to look at. One, because this kind of shows how Dr. Coomers keeps messing with the player, and I think it's just for his sick enjoyment. In my opinion, just scaring the player is just giving him some form of joy, and each you can tell because he's kind of got like a smile on. Well, at least with that face. And he keeps getting more and more warped every single time that we see him, obviously outside of episode freaking the Sky News, the fourth one, that one, and the two secret area things, episode 3 and 5, where those he was basically the same. But even though that was just his head, it still kept getting like he keeps getting more deformed, I guess you could say, which is very interesting in my opinion. Anyways, I don't know why I talk so much about this one, even though I just said there's not much to talk about. This is another one where I feel like I can't really explain it in my own words, but the title kind of explains it all. It's you know, disappearing Half-Life NPCs or whatever in Gmod, and it's another one where everything interesting is at the very end. There he is again. I think at this point you can kind of tell I'm kind of getting bored of this series because it's basically just the same thing every single video. Just he's messing around, experimenting and stuff, and then boom, glitchy thing happens. But in this one there's two glitchy things, and I think it's Dr. Coomer. It's just Dr. Coomer messing with him. I am super excited for this next one because it's finally a change in the formula. It's I think like 10 or 9 screenshots, but there's something wrong with all of them. Dr. Coomer! He's in the background of all of them. And as you can see in that one, right there, in some of them, his mouth is like wide open and it goes down to like his waist or his feet. And I like this video. I think it's very, very, very good change from formula because the past 3 videos have basically been the same thing but with various different settings, I guess. So, yes, this is a nice change from formula, and by the way, this is the third to last video uploaded to this channel. At the time of this recording, the last upload was like a year ago. So this next video is because of this comment. So the creator of the ARG decided to take this comment and put it into his ARG as like a video, and it's interesting. I'll just let it play out. I'm not gonna put a skip thing here because the video is literally like 30 seconds long.
Fascinating. I never suspected such things could be.
So then this happens, and it says that's not going to stop me. I'm assuming this is from Dr. Coomer. The player's very scared, clearly. I don't really have much to say about this one. It's kind of repeating the same thing that the last few ones did, where it's just like the player does something, then something scary happens. But I do like this one because it was like from the comment from the video. That was very, very cool and awesome. And yeah. Anyways, on to the very final video, and then I'm just gonna end this video. Finally, the last video, which is another one where I feel like I have to just show it to you before like giving my thing on it. So I'm just gonna let you guys watch it. Of course, here.
Things could be.
So obviously that one is like, it's like a investigation that he's doing of his old videos, and here he doesn't have like a direct encounter with Dr. Coomer, but Dr. Coomer comes by, his head like flies by him, and this one is very peculiar. Peculiar. It's the most recent video, and it's still like a year old, by the way. Just saying. And I think that when
Things
his
could be.
game crashed, he decided to stop making stuff. He took a long break, and that's why I'm out with a new video. Yeah. These are my theories. I'm gonna give some of my theories on this thing now. My number one theory is that Dr. Coomer is just messing with the player and for his sick, twisted enjoyment. My second theory is that I don't have a second theory. That's my only theory. It's that Dr. Coomer just gets some enjoyment out of tormenting and torturing the player. I think that is the whole real thing that's happening, and honestly, I sort of enjoyed researching, or not really researching, just like going through all the videos and stuff. I enjoyed it. I think it was very well put together for the most part, but I don't really like how repetitive it can get sometimes. I'd say in terms of story, that I don't really have a good grasp on it, but I'd say like an 8 out of 10. It's pretty well done. In horror, 10. Like it does this has a really good so it's really good at building suspense. On how well made it is, it's 10 out of 10, man. It's really well done, really well made. In overall, I'd give this like a 9 out of 10. It's a really good ARG, and I'd recommend giving it a full watch through. And also, please help me in the comments, because I have no idea what's going on half the time in this thing. So pretty please, with the cherry on top, help me in the comments. Love y'all. See y'all in the next one. Goodbye.